This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show. This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show.
YouTube, what is up? I'm your homeboy Josh, back at you, and today we're taking a look at the Peerless RDA. You know, I don't know how I feel about these free sample boxes. I like packaging. I like looking at packaging. So this is the new thing with the free sample box. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it so much. I don't know what the purpose of it is because I like packaging. I like being able to show you guys what you're gonna get and what you're gonna see and what it's gonna look like and all that. It's kind of cool to see like the final product. So I don't know, just some feedback, whatever. It's not a big deal. But it's nice to see the final product. And plus, one thing that's kind of annoys me about it is, again, it's not a big deal. It's just, GeekVape wrote me and told me that there is a Squonk pin that is gonna come with the retail version for this. And I've recently found a love of squonking, but they told me they weren't sending it, but the retail version is gonna come with a Squonk pin. I don't have one though, so I can't play with the Squonk pin. And that makes me sad, GeekVape. It makes me really sad. It's okay. It's all right. 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 Okay. I'll get over it. It's fine. I'll move on. Okay. So, came in the free sample box, the Peerless RDA. Inside the box, I also got an alternate airflow adjustment ring, which is cool because it has a drip tip adapter. Nice, which was missing from the Medusa. The Medusa didn't have one of these. And the alternate top cap that's included fits tips that will fit things like the Goon, the Kennedy. Some of the other GeekVape devices have tops like that that will fit those particular drip tips, and they're really popular these days, so you're not gonna have too much of a problem finding drip tips that are going to fit. So I'm glad to see that the Medusa is not the new norm for GeekVape. I like these ultem drip tips a lot, don't get me wrong. I love ultem drip tips. Just the look of them, just the way they feel. I really like the ultem drip tips. I think they're awesome, and I'd love to see more and more ultem drip tips come out in the market. But I honestly prefer being able to switch it out and use my own if I want to. But so far I've just been using it with this drip tip that it comes with because it's really, really nice and comfortable, honestly. Also came with a bunch of extras and goodies and all that kind of stuff, extra O-rings. Also the GeekVape triangular tool, of course, extra screws. And some of these screws look a little funky, like they've got like this sort of extension on them. Interesting, right? We'll get into that. Those screws are interesting. I've come to like these screws. So the Peerless is an RDA with a top cap that has a sort of cyclonic airflow adjustment ring, okay? So the airflow slits are cut at a diagonal, and the inner airflow ring sort of moves around it to close off these 3 series of 3 diagonal airflow slots. This was a style that was really popularized with the Mutation X series of devices. They always had that cyclonic airflow style system. So when I see that same style airflow, I immediately think Mutation X. Now they don't call it a cyclonic airflow, they just say there's 9 air holes in the side that support a wide variety of the vaping experience. Yeah, it's adjustable airflow, it's great, but it still reminds me of that cyclonic airflow system that we had with the Mutation X. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like a really, really clean, nice version of a Mutation X, like a really well-made Mutation X. The Mutation X's, they have like a really thin metal, generally. Like they're not super quality made. I mean, they sold for like 30 bucks, and back then 30 bucks was like super cheap. You didn't get GeekVape's kind of quality for 30 bucks back when the Mutation X's were that big, if you ask me. I feel like that $30 price range, you get a lot more value for that now, especially now that GeekVape is on the scene. It also has this really nice bit of script on the side of the top cap where it says Peerless. And it really reminds me, it's a baseball team, I feel like, that uses this particular kind of font, and it reminds me of that. Not a big fan of the gold on the bottom, personally. The gold deck at the bottom just doesn't go with anything. I personally like stainless devices myself. The color options on this guy are ridiculous. There's so many color options. There's gold, magenta, blue, black, and there's silver. But even the silver, it's not like a stainless steel finish. They're all like this, anodized kind of finish, and Again, I just want stainless steel. Easy to maintain, it always looks good, it's a classic look. Given the choice, something that's not being sent to me for free, something that I'm going out to buy, always go for the stainless option myself. Just because it's timeless, it's gonna go with everything. Every stainless topper will look good on every device. I happen to be fortunate that I have a device or two that something black is gonna look all right on, but I'll always go stainless given the choice. So in terms of looks and aesthetics, I'm mostly on board with it. I just would have preferred stainless myself. And I get the implication, it's like the Peerless RDA, there's nothing that compares to it. Well, there are some things that compare to it if you ask me. Like the Mutation X kind of compares to it. There's a lot of similarities between this and the Mutation X series of devices. There's a lot of similarities between this and the Medusa. This also has a very similar sort of system to some of the devices, some of the toppers coming out from Purge Mods, who I can't wait to make a visit to over at Vape Showcase. I will be there a week from today. Today? Yeah, I'll be in Atlanta a week from today and the Vape Showcase the next day. So I'm super excited for the Vape Showcase. It's gonna be awesome. So it does have some similarities to some other devices on the market. So would I say it's peerless? No. Would I say it's pretty damn good? Yeah, I'd say that. It's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good, especially for the price. But what's interesting about it is what's going on under the hood. They've got somewhat of an interesting deck design going on here, where there's a set of post holes on the lower end of the deck and a set of post holes on the top end of the deck. There are some nice benefits that go along with having this system where there's two sets of post holes. Well, it's really nice when you have those smaller builds, because you don't have to stretch that smaller build to fit a really large deck. Because those really large decks, they're great for those big, wide coils, but when it comes down to the smaller coils, I don't like having to stretch my build out so much, and the leads are going off like this, and the coil's right over here, you know? And a fuse Clapton with 28 gauge is still a pretty tiny coil. There's two ways that you can do it with a smaller build like this. You can put both leads into the top section on either side of the coil. You can also just not bend the leads at all, and then the top lead goes into the top section, the bottom lead goes into the bottom section. And that's what I did, and it was super easy to fit everything in there. It just glided into those post holes, no problem, and it was a cinch to just close everything on up. What I find so intelligent about this design is the way that that top post is designed, where it's still just two screws. There's two screws, two for the inside posts, two for the outside posts. That's it. But the way that they did that, the middle four posts could still just be served by one screw, is designing this really interesting screw, captures the lead at the bottom and captures the lead on the top too, by closing off this bit of space on the side of this extension at the bottom of the screw. Capture coil kind of system in the middle, and then just a regular sort of screw down on the wire sort of post on the sides. That I thought was pretty cool and really smart the way that they did that. Design of that center post, those two center posts, really, really smart there. The well is really well designed as The well is really well designed. That's funny. All right. I really like the way the well is designed as well. That's better. Okay. It's got this bit of cutaway underneath the posts, which is really nice because it allows airflow to really travel inside the chamber here. I really like the way that the airflow is really free. It feels like a really loose, airy draw. Now you can close it down, you can open it up, yeah, but you can feel like there's very little restriction within the chamber. It's very smooth draw on this device. Now there's plenty of airflow in this device. But the thing about it, what I notice most is how smooth the draw is. There's no restriction. There's no turbulence is what I'm trying to say. Like some devices, you know, when you take a pull, you can feel there's turbulence. You can feel things getting in the way of the airflow, like the posts are extra wide, or there's some kind of walls within the chamber that are causing a bit of turbulence. I personally like turbulence in the airflow. That's just me. But if you're someone that likes a super smooth draw, you might like something like this. Now with this particular build, I like to vape it at, you know, about 70 watts or so. It's a 0.29 ohm build, so just shy of 0.3 with these fuse Claptons here, this 28 gauge fuse Claptons. I like to close it off so that only one section of the airflow is open. It's a little bit tight, but the clouds really thick, a lot of flavor. It's really, really nice, honestly, really nice. But again, no turbulence really. Just super smooth on the draw. Or open it up maybe about halfway, something like that. That's a little bit nicer. I like that even more. Very cloudy, even at just 70 watts. What's really nice about the well in the Peerless is that it's deceptively deep. Like if you just peek in there, it looks like it only goes down like about, I don't know, 3-4 millimeters. But then it's got this, it bottoms down. I mean, there's like a well within the well and it goes deep, like really, really, really deep in there. So like a full 10 millimeter well or so. So there's plenty of space to stuff your wicking. There's plenty of space for juice to collect in there. And they say it's also to forgive imbalanced wicking, so that if you wick a little bit more on one side than the other, don't properly wick the device, it's a little bit more forgiving of that is the idea. And the juice can travel more freely from one side to the other to saturate your wicks, even if you do a great job of wicking. GeekVape also sent me over a set of these coils. Now they're split into 2 sets. It's actually 2 sets of coils here, 4 coils each. Pretty cool. It's like a 2-in-1 fuse Clapton set. It comes with a coil tool as well if you wanted to add more wraps, for example. One of them is 24 gauge, one of them is 26 gauge. It's 32/24 or 36/26. Now, normally I'd probably use the 36/26, but I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna use these 24 gauges. I'm gonna add a couple more wraps in there, and then we're gonna throw this into the bottom portion of the deck just so you can get an idea of the versatility of this device. Plus, they also sent over these GeekVape cotton balls, 100% natural organic cotton, no additives, no bleach, highly absorbent and tasteless, manufactured for vaping. It's on the back, by the way. I gotta say, I like cotton balls, always have. I like the simplicity of using cotton balls. Plus these, they unfold beautifully. It's made so that it unrolls so simply, just like that. And that is awesome for the wicking. Yeah. Ultimately, last minute, I had a change of heart and decided to take out one of the coils just because, you know, I wanted to try out the single airflow option, to be honest with you. It ohms out at about 0.38 ohms, vaping it right now at about 72 watts, about the same that I had the other one. So it's vaping a little more than 5 volts. Straight up awesome. Flavor is out of this world. It's ridiculously good flavor because there's so much surface area to that coil. It's such a massive build and it's just so much flavor. It's awesome. 120 watts, why not? On this 0.4 ohm build, treat it kind of like a series build, I guess. Make sure it's good and juicy first. It's a good idea, right? Yeah, let's do that. Short pulls, but whoa, great flavor. And that's all the way open right now. Yeah, that's yummy. That's really yummy. I think I'm gonna enjoy this RDA, honestly. For a minute there, I wasn't sure that the top cap was gonna be able to fit with the inner airflow and everything, but it did. That's how much build space is in this RDA, that it can fit 8 wraps, 32 gauge over 24 gauge fused Claptons, and I have no doubt that it can fit some fatty 5 wrap, you know, Staggertons and staggered stapled fused Claptons. It's a monster of a build space in there. But what's nice is you don't have to build a super big build in there if you don't want to. And if you just want a tiny build in there, you know, narrow coils, you don't have to stretch out those leads so they're like, you know, you don't have to do that. It's nice to be able to have an RDA that's capable of accommodating both those small builds and those big builds. It's really versatile that way. Yeah, that's a mighty good vape. I gotta say, I'm a fan of the Peerless. I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first, but I'm a fan. I like it. Anyway, guys, till next time, I'm your homeboy, Josh. Vape on, vapors.